Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Well, it must be extremely nice weather in North America today because there is not much of anything happening online. Been popping around on social media and nobody's there. It's kind of quiet, so that's great. I like to actually see that because that means that people are getting some rare good weather for this time of the year and are out being active probably, or out doing something with family, friends, so that's a good thing. So I've just been mostly goofing off today, playing around a little bit. I got my day started pretty early, started eating pretty early, got my son in for the day, went and bought groceries, got everything I need for the rest of the day, dinner, and about to go do some yoga here in a little bit. So thought I would just do a kind of a loose video today. You know, I usually do that on the weekend, and I put a few subjects together that I was reading things about today and that just kind of stumbled across, and this is another good video. I haven't said this one in a while, but this type of video is one I should really say it. These are my views. This is my opinion. I'm not one of those people, if you haven't picked it up or if you haven't watched me before, I'm not one of those people that says, this is what I do, everybody needs to do that. I mean, I consider people that do it, that's pretty arrogant. And I generally don't stick with many channels or social media accounts that kind of have that attitude about them. So, like I say, these are just my opinions on the subject, not knocking anybody the way they do things, except for people that are a little bit higher than, or that are a little bit judgmental. You know, the ones I'm talking about, always the bigger, better. They always know a bigger, better way. You know, the ones I'm talking about. Every time somebody posts a recipe or any sort of article or any sort of knowledge in there, you know, their little brains start to tweak, and they start looking down the list and nitpicking on anything that in their big range of knowledge is wrong with it. So, take a lot of this stuff tongue-in-cheek. Like, you really don't get my essence if you take me too seriously on things sometimes. Listen, I hope I don't mislead in the wrong direction. I am not a deep person at all. I'm about as deep as a mud puddle. I need to coin that one, but anyway, just had a few notes down here. So let's see what we got. So, as the title says, Fruitarianism, Fruitarians, fat and raw vegan extremism. All right, now the first site I went to, I hear Fruitarian all the time, so I'm just like, you know, I should actually look up how Fruitarian is actually defined, and I got to a pretty good site. I saw a few different definitions, but I picked up some good stuff on this site. It says, for the sake of clarity, readers should note that when we are talking about a fruitarian diet, a fruitarian lifestyle, it is a diet that is 75% raw fruit by weight, and the remaining foods vegan and raw. Well, there you go. If I ain't a fruitarian, I don't know, by that definition, if I ain't a fruitarian, I don't know what the hell is, because, let's see, so far it is, as I'm making this video, it's 2:15 in the afternoon where I am, and I have had probably, I've had about 2,500 calories today, and the only non-fruit of those calories have been kale and a little bit of blackstrap molasses. So I would say so far for today, I've probably got about 2,400 calories of this nothing but fruit. So yeah, okay, pretty much figuring there. It's just I wanted to look that one up because sometimes that kind of seems to get, like some of the fruitarians, they're a little bit too woo-woo with it. Nothing against fruitarianism there. I'm just saying the approach of certain people, some people out there. Sometimes that stuff just turns me off a little bit when they're so, you know what I'm talking about? They just get a little too intense about it. And they have their own, you know, exact definitions of exactly what it is. Now they went on to say, blah, 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 a few things that I read, that I see that make a lot of sense, and it is behavior that doesn't really appeal much to me. We strongly disagree with the practice of certain fruitarian extremists who condemn and attack others because they have a different diet. And they go on and they question things. Don't jump on people that question your beliefs. Even if you stay true to your beliefs, you're weak in your beliefs if you get angry or aggressive with somebody that questions things. And they say right here, we openly question the mental health effects of long-term fruitarian diets as so many fruitarian experts, quotes, appear to be mentally unbalanced in our opinion. It's true, I've seen some of that stuff. Common behaviors of certain fruitarian experts that can be observed and which we propose as characteristics by which such mental unbalance can be gauged, and such criteria as incredibly hateful fanaticism, obsessive, pathological fear, hatred of cooked food, protein, or mucus, life-controlling obsession with food and dietary purity, which if taken far enough can turn into a possible eating disorder, orthorexia. Now this orthorexia, yeah, I've seen a lot of people just like throw bad examples around about that, but I do believe it exists, and I believe when people go to that just next level of crazy, that it does get a little bit unhealthy for us. But like I say, I don't disagree with this stuff. Like I don't, you know, if you don't want to eat cooked food, or if you're not into the protein, you know, if you're not fanatic about protein, which I'm not, and you're trying to eliminate your mucus, that's all good. I'm talking about the fanaticism of this way of thinking. Also, through lengthy experience, we've become very skeptical of long-term success claims on the diet because the overwhelming majority of such claims are eventually found to be false. In other words, the expert actually does not follow the diet as strictly as claimed and or appears to be mentally, physically unhealthy. All right, basically to boil down the fruitarian part, I'm a fruitarian and I'm not bothered by any of this. That gives me things to think about. That gives me things to look out for. If you're bothered by that, you might be one of the people that's a little extreme about this lifestyle. Fat, I've talked about fat a number of times. Fat, everybody out there, it's a religion every day. I don't go to groups on social media even one day that there is not multiple discussions of fat, back and forth, and everybody kind of thinks they're baby bear, you know what I mean, when the Goldilocks tale, that they're the one that has found just the right amount. And they tell you, don't eat too much, don't eat too little, just eat enough. And they're the one that knows what's just enough for everybody. I'm not necessarily sure one level of fat works for everybody. Everybody's body's different. And in the end, yeah, I would try to keep fat on the lower end. I'm not saying crazy low. I wouldn't go high fat. But yeah, I just don't think it's worth obsessing every single day that you're on social media over fat. Eat the level of fat that you want to eat. Don't feel like you got to argue and defend that position every day. If you want to eat 5% fat, why do you feel that you need to tell me all day, every day about how 5% fat is the way to go? If you want to eat 10%, why do you need to tell me all day, every day that's the way to go? If you believe in higher fat, 20%, why do you need to tell me all day, every day? Be confident in how much you're eating, eat it, and be happy with it. Don't worry about what I'm eating. Now, talking about when it's extreme, orthorexia, I think a lot of times people try to make us raw vegans all be out to be orthorexic just because we pay attention to what we eat. I don't believe that, but I do believe it can go to the other side of extreme. And I think the lifestyle becomes extreme when one tends to think their way is the only way. Their way is the only way. And they obsess over following the lifestyle with an unrealistic level of purity. It becomes extreme when the person is angry about others that eat differently, although they may be vegan and very, very high carb. It becomes extremism when one argues the details of this lifestyle nonstop. I just had taken some more notes of my own and I was repeating myself there. But yeah, the extremism I think is in the approach and not necessarily in what anybody eats. I don't look at anybody and think of them as an extremist because by analyzing their diet or what they're eating. I don't look at somebody and say, oh, they're eating that, they're an extremist. I categorize people extremists by their methods of interacting with people, about how they're how they constantly have to tell you this is the way, not a way, but the way. But anyhow, just a few random ideas on a Saturday. You know, that's kind of how we do it on the weekend sometimes. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel, and I hope you are having a wonderful weekend and getting outside and doing something fun. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.